Hello and welcome to the MSB podcast. My name's Thomas O'Reilly and I'll be your host for this podcast series. This series sees me sit down with the partners of the firm and just get to know them a little bit better and get an insight into their career journey. So joining me today, I've got Mark Forman, partner and head of civil litigation.
Hello.
And Neil Kelly, partner and head of commercial property.
Hi there.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. How are you both?
Yeah, very well indeed.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good. So the first question is for both of you. If you can just give us a bit of background, really, give us an insight into your career journey and why you chose to become lawyers.
Shall I
I don't know
start?
who wants to go first.
Yeah, I'll start. Crikey, I think I decided I wanted to be a lawyer when I was doing my A-levels, which is a long time ago now, back in 1986 to 1988. So, because you think, don't you, when you're a kid, what do you want to do? And I was looking around, and I thought being a lawyer would be a good thing. You know, the cut and thrust of the courtroom, and there was some good TV programs on at the time. I think on the TV, LA Law, so on. So I thought, yep, I'll try my hand at being a lawyer. So got onto the law degree at Birmingham University. Did that law degree for 3 years. In those days, the law firms in the city came round in the second year of your law course. So by the end of the second year of the law course, I had 3 offers from firms in Birmingham city centre to become a trainee solicitor post the third year and post going to College of Law. So complete the third year, got a 2-1. Then I went to Chester College of Law, passed that, and then I started at a firm called Martin & Johnson on the 1st of September 1992. That would have been 1st September 1992. So started there as a trainee solicitor. That was a sort of a commercial firm in Birmingham. They've now merged with Shakespeare's, so they're now Shakespeare Martin & So I did the various seats within Martin & Johnson. I then moved up to Liverpool in 1994. I think it was December 1994. I moved up to Liverpool, and I've been in Liverpool ever since. So I started with a firm called Cuff Roberts, who unfortunately are no longer with us. They got taken over by Halliwells, and Halliwells merged into Hill Dickinson some years later. And then I joined Waitman's thereafter. What year was that, Neil? It was 96, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
around about 1996 when I first met this man to my left. In fact, Neil was on the interview panel.
I do remember. Yeah.
So that interview was 1996. There was Neil and a lady, I think, on the interview panel. So got the job at Waitman's. We were at Waitman's then until 2004.
2004.
Yeah, until 2004. So at Waitman's, I was generally doing sort of commercial work. And then 2004, me and Neil left Waitman's and we set up our own firm at that time called PFK, Powell, Forman, Kelly. So there was me, Forman, there was Neil Kelly, and there was a guy called James Powell. So we were PFK, and we set up in Water Street, around the corner from here, and we did quite well.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. And we then brought another guy in called Case, and so we became CFK, and we moved up to Hope Street. That took us up to 2010. So there I was doing a bag of commercial work, litigation work, quite a wide range of legal work really for clients in the Merseyside region. Developing contacts across the region. And then in roundabout, it must have been the summer of 2003. Yeah, I met Paul Bibby. So Paul Bibby was the managing partner, not the senior partner, the managing partner of Moore Sexton Bibby. And Paul wanted to have a commercial presence in the city centre. We wanted to sort of expand our offering. So discussions ensued then, really, and we decided to create. It was a new practice, wasn't it? So we created a new practice then, called MSB, and we were the city centre arm of MSB from 2010. So that's grown pretty well, really. Over the past 11 years, it's expanded significantly. We've picked up significant clients and work over that period of time, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind. But that's the 11 years, isn't it? Really. So so no, it's brilliant. It's all fantastic. Yeah.
Well, I suppose Neil, Mark's explained a lot of your working history there for the pair of you. So I don't know if you're.
It kind of covers most of what I mean. Yeah, although I'm a bit older than Mark, so I mean, I'm not sure what made me go into law. I'd sort of left school quite early at 16 and then started working and did night school. Did my two favourite subjects at night school, because they were slightly different subjects from what you do at school, was law and sociology. So initially, I think I was looking at maybe going into social work and that sort of thing. But for some reason, I quite enjoyed some of the legal course we were doing, and then decided at the last minute to switch from a sociology degree to a law degree at Liverpool, and then got a job with a firm called Rutherford's, who then merged with Waitman's, and that's where I then came into contact with Mark at that stage. And I think we both felt that the commercial side of Waitman's wasn't really, they weren't putting the resources into it at that time. It was very much a litigation firm at that time. We were very much commercially minded. And decided to break away, which was quite a sort of brave thing to do at the time. And we moved across the road from Waitman's, so literally, you could see their offices from where we were.
Sight.
But you know, that went well. But it does take a bit of courage to do that. Yeah. Especially we both had families at that time, and you know, you worry about where the next money's going to come. But we were quite confident that we were going to be able to bring clients with us. We both had the confidence in each other that would happen.
Yeah.
And then, we've carried on and ended up with MSB. Mark mentioned Paul Bibby. I mean, I knew Paul. We used to have an annual football trip to Belgium, which with Paul Bibby and Sean Sexton used to go on. So I knew the guys from a social point of view, and we thought we could fit in well with them, which worked out. And I think we brought to them a commercial aspect, didn't we, really?
We did.
They were very much based in Allerton Road, so they were quite a, out-of-town type of firm, whereas we'd forever worked in Liverpool city centre, so we had the contacts there. And I think it all went together well, and as it's shown today, really.
That's good, very well. Yeah.
No, excellent. And so you mentioned there that, you've created and expanded this department within the firm. Can you let us know what is the most rewarding, point in your career history? What's been, the most successful aspect of your careers?
Well, I suppose seeing it grow to where it is today, really, starting the practice from the Liverpool office from scratch, really, and seeing how it's grown and building the business to what it is today. I think that's been quite an exciting journey that we've had, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think we set that up from scratch. There was no guarantee that clients would follow us. Luckily, clients did follow us, and we had a lot of really good contacts with accountants and banks and other professionals within the city centre. So it was fantastic, really, wasn't it? That the business did so well so quickly, and we took on extra staff fairly quickly as well, didn't we? So we made quite an impact, I think, in the city centre. So that was very gratifying, and I think other elements of working in the law, it's good from time to time you come across clients who you really want to do a really good job for, because you can get really close to clients, and sometimes there's significant injustice done to a client. So if you can win that case for that client, it's a fantastic outcome for the client, obviously, but it's great from your personal perspective, and it's great from a firm perspective as well. So you're sort of making a difference to people's lives, and you're making a difference in business. You're making a difference to businesses, really, because clients come to you with problems, certainly in my case, in terms of litigation, come to you with problems, and you provide a solution to them, So, and to provide that solution is fantastic. And it's the same with you, Neil, isn't it, really, in terms of,
I think seeing clients on a journey as well, and we were chatting just before about one of our clients who We acted for very early on, almost insolvent. The managing director, though, was very charismatic. They then ended up, they're probably one of the top sort of 10 companies in the country now. Directors are all millionaires, and it's great seeing that journey that they've run, and we've been with them along the way. So that's very exciting and rewarding to know that we've assisted them in getting where they've got to.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. And now, Mark, I come to you. A question our staff have asked me to raise with you. So obviously in civil litigation, you work in a very wide remit of specialisms. Is there any particular one that interests you over the others, or one that's particularly harder than the others, would you say?
I think the interesting thing in litigation is a problem can arise for a client in any area of law. So over the course of the past year, we had a lady who, for instance, she has some show ponies, and that took us into the realms of the Animals Act and legislation involving animals. I mean, the story there was that she had these show ponies in a field, and the farmer next door had a bull, and the bull burst through the fence and killed the pony. So that was one from sort of left field. Never dealt with anything like it before. So you're then looking into that there is law covering that type of thing, escape of livestock from farmers' fields. So not something I had previously come across. So the enjoyment of doing litigation is that there's always something new, or it's a new area that you've not particularly looked at before. So I wouldn't say there's any one particular area which I particularly enjoy doing, but the joy of litigation is that you could get a legal problem from any field of law, and from any part of the country or any part of the world, really, because at the moment I'm dealing with issues. Clients got issues in overseas, in Thailand. He's got issues in Turkey, USA, South Africa. So it's quite interesting as well, talking to lawyers in those jurisdictions, getting on the phone to lawyers in South Africa or in the States, wherever it might be, and having a conversation with them. It is a very wide remit, and there's some interesting challenges in the law. And certainly some areas of litigation, sometimes you can be treading new ground. I mean, I've got a case at the moment. It's got a very nuanced question of law. It's the difference between occupation and possession, and what level of possession is required for a particular part of legislation. That's gone to the Court of Appeal. So that question is going to be answered by the Court of Appeal judges. So it's not currently determined in the case law. So when you get cases like that's the enjoyment of doing litigation. And the other thing is, it's always a challenge.
Yeah,
because you want to be intellectually motivated, don't you? So it keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you motivated in work. So absolutely.
Brilliant. And Neil, for you, any particular case that sticks in your mind? Yeah.
Not really. I suppose I'm in the property side of things, so I do a lot of leases and I'll do business sales, and it is just assisting people along the way, really. And as I've said, with certain clients who you see that they increase the turnover and become very big companies. If you've played a part in that, that's quite exciting. We've got a number of clients where that has happened. Starting from scratch and turning into big companies. Directors and everybody earning, good money, and it's nice to be involved with those companies. So, and a bit like Mark, I quite enjoy the legal challenge. I think we both enjoy still looking at the law. A lot of people don't necessarily bother with that these days, but we like getting down to the nitty gritty of legal precedents and what have you. So that's if it's a challenge, we both enjoy that.
Yeah, no, great. And so that leads me on to, obviously, you're both very successful in your field. So can you instill any words of wisdom for those trainee solicitors or people that want to pursue a career in the law? Who to come to first?
I'll go first. I think just following on from that conversation there, as a trainee, you can never lose sight of the fact that you are a lawyer. So the start point for any advice is the law. And particularly in litigation, you've got rules of procedure. So you've got court rules of procedure. It's the same in the criminal side. And you've got to follow that procedure, because if you don't follow the procedure, you'll soon get caught out when you turn up to court and it's pointed out to you by the judge that you've not complied, and then it's a slightly embarrassing situation to be in. So don't find yourself in that situation. You need to look at the case law and the legislation to work out the solution for the client. Never lose sight of that, and be very careful about what you say in emails and in correspondence. From a spelling and a grammar perspective, because what you think you're trying to say to the client, unless it's said clearly, the client might not have the same interpretation on your letter as you have, and that can lead you into difficulty. So I think if you follow those rules, I'll say, then that would be a good starting point.
Excellent, Neil.
And and agree with that. Business development's important as well. I know when we started the new firm, we built up a professional network of people that we knew, bankers, accountants, other lawyers, and that's essential, really, for your future success. So it's getting to events, going to networking things, even if you feel it's out of your comfort zone. It's something that you're going to have to do, and make sure you go to as many events as you can, because that's where you're meeting people, you're meeting other professionals who will probably become useful to you later on in life, really.
Yeah.
So.
Great. And so finally, you've both obviously worked alongside each other for many years. So are you willing to share a funny experience or, a time that was really challenging?
Well, I suppose the big challenging event, came in 2010, was it?
April
2010. I got a call. Mark mentioned we worked in Hope Street, 32 Hope Street. And Mark gave me a call, I think it was on a Saturday lunchtime, and said, "Have you put the news on for Radio Merseyside?" So I said no. So I put the news on, and the report was that there was a major fire in the solicitor's offices in Hope Street, and there were 60 firefighters trying to put it out because they were worried. We were next door to the Phil, that it was going to hit the Phil.
Right.
So we both drove down to the offices, didn't we? Standing there, I actually remember standing on the pavement, seeing our office up in flames, all of our files, everything up in flames. And
that does sound challenging.
The landlord came over, John Elster, who we act for.
He did.
So he was there. And then one of the firefighters was a client of mine who does some buy-to-lets. So we were there having a chat, watching it all, absolutely up in flames.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So we were thinking, what are we going to do on Monday morning? And Mark got to work on that. And by 11 o'clock Monday morning, we were in Silk House Court, serviced offices, all the computers on. We were paperless before it became fashionable because it all gone up in smoke. But we actually were able to get started again. And I think one of the things that both of us have is an ability to, at least externally, remain calm where there might be, a lot of things going on. And that was an important time, wasn't it, where that happened. And, Mark got everything sorted out so that we had all the staff at 11 o'clock working there. And the offices, I don't think we could attend the offices for another 6 months, could we? Because they were...
No.
The staircase was burnt down and everything. So it was... challenging times, to say the least.
Yeah. I remember that day because it was my birthday. So it was the 17th of April, 2010. So I was lying in bed and the radio came on and it said there's a fire as Neil said, in Hope Street. They were more panicking about the Philharmonic pub because it got into the roof and the fire was moving that way towards Phil. So imagine if that had burnt down. So that's why there were 60 firefighters. And I think we were on 2 floors, but below us, in the basement, there was a bar, wasn't there?
Yeah.
In the basement. I think somebody had firebombed the basement of this, where the bar was. We did think it might have been our staff because they wanted to go paperless. So it was the quickest way to go paperless. Yeah. Everything was up in smoke. It was horrendous, really. But luckily, we, on a daily basis, took a backup of our servers because we had servers in the office. So I think either me or Neil, I think I'd taken a backup on the Friday of everything on the servers. So I had the backup, which was fantastic. And then I managed to ring round and find some cheap computers to buy, and an IT guy. So he fixed them all up.
That's right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the office. Once I knew quite a few people. The benefit of knowing people in the city is that, really, so many people, a few phone calls. We had 20 computers. We had new servers. We found space in Silk House Court. Yeah. So people did help us and rally round. So we were up and running, weren't we, by 11 o'clock on the Monday? And I think there you do need to, because it was a disaster, you do need to keep calm. I mean, we can look back now and laugh, but it wasn't a laughing matter at the time.
Well, I mean, it's MSB's gain in the long run, I suppose. Yeah. It's very inspirational to have heard you overcome that. So, well, on that note, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining me today. It's been great. I've benefited a lot, so I know, can imagine all the listeners will as well. So thank you for taking the time to come down.
No, thank you very much. It's been enjoyable.
Cheers, gentlemen.